Taylor here, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have my July book haul, so I'm going to be showing you all of the books that I've gotten so far in July. If you like this video, please give it a big old thumbs up. Also hit the subscribe button down below, and also the bell, that way you know the next time I post a video. And yes, I believe I've gotten about 20 books so far in July, which is a lot for 1 month, but it's not a lot in the grand scheme of things. So yes, I will be going over what the books are, where I got them, etc. So, but first I'm actually going to start off with something that's not a book, but it's book content. So I'm going to talk about the dress I'm wearing. This is a dress from a Stitch Shop by Loungefly, and it is the Disney Princess book dress. So it has a lot of different details from like the Disney movies. So you have like all of like the Disney Princess books here. You have like Chip from Beauty and the Beast, and you got the rose. You have Moana's necklace. You have Mulan's fan. You have Pocahontas's compass. You have Gus. You have Gus and the other mouse from Cinderella. You also have Cinderella's shoe there. You have a spool of thread from Cinderella. You have a fork from The Little Mermaid. We also have Tiana's flower. We have the brushes from Tangled. We have the apple from Snow White. The lamp from Aladdin. And we have Aurora's crown. So yes, I saw this dress and I was like, oh, this is so great. It incorporates Disney, and it also is about books. And it also has pockets. Pockets on both sides. Very nice. It's almost like a 50s style dress, which I kind of really like, and it comes with a belt. And the background color is navy blue. Online it actually looks black. And then when I saw that it was navy blue, I was actually like happy because I prefer navy blue to black. But yes, if you're interested in this dress, when I got it, it was like 50 or 60% off. So if it's still available, I will leave a link down in the description box below. And you also get this cute little book pin with the dress, which I thought was really cute. I don't know what I'm going to do with the pin, because like I have pins, but I've like never done anything with them. But I really need to, so yes, I love it. Alright, on to the actual books now. The first two books I got were Moss Storm and Starcross by Philip Reeve. And this is like a sci-fi, steampunk, middle grade novel trilogy. My first book is up on the top up there, but I wanted to get the other two books in the series. I actually read these borrowed them from the library originally when I worked at the library, and I really loved them, and I knew I had to have some for myself. These sadly aren't in very good condition, but these are like out of print now. They're kind of really hard to find, so I don't know if I would have been able to find them in good condition. But I believe it's about some siblings. It's been a while since I read these. It's about like 3 siblings who like travel through space and like go on adventures or something like that. I think Starcross is the second one. Yeah, so the second one, I don't believe you have to read these, like you have to read 1, 2, and 3. I believe you can like read them like out of order. So the second one, Starcross, says, The Further Adventures of Art and Myrtle Mumby, a stirring tale of British vim upon the seas of space and time. I couldn't believe it when the invitation arrived. A free holiday in the exotic asteroid belt sounded too good to be true. Regrettably, it was. Our destination had every luxury you could imagine, but there was something very sinister about it. People were not as they seemed, nor was the place as I was about to find out. Giant sand clams and man-eating starfish were nothing compared to the terrifying nature of the true enemy. But I had to keep my head because everyone else was losing theirs. Would all the cunning and bravery I could muster be enough to save my life and the known universe again? So, yes. I want to reread these because I remember I had a lot of fun with them, and it's been so long, I can't really remember that much about them. but they're also like illustrated inside. And they're pretty short and they're quick reads. Also, look at the cute little end papers. This one, unfortunately, was damaged, but yes. So it's very Victorian, very steampunk, but yet also they're out in space. So I really like this series, and I can't wait to reread them. Then I went to Wonderbooks, and they were having a big buy 2 mass market paperbacks, and you'll get 1 for free. Well, I picked up 4 James Rollins books. I picked up these 4 James Rollins books. I believe these are books 2, 3, 4, and 5 in the Sigma Force series, which I believe is like up to 18 or something now. I don't have the first one, and then I have like 15 and 18 or something like that. So I was like, oh wow, they have like a whole bunch in the series, and I want to read them. And I love Dan Brown. Dan Brown is one of my favorite authors. I love his kind of like secret society, like big conspiracies. I love like National Treasure, and James Rollins delivers that exact same thing. So I started reading The Bat of Bones already, and it's really cool because it starts off in Frederick, Maryland at Fort Detrick, and I live really close to there. So like I was like, oh wow, I'm reading about my backyard pretty much. So that was pretty cool. And I haven't gotten very far yet because I started reading it and then I got tired. But I'm working on reading this one right now. And then I picked up The Last Oracle, The Judas Strain, and The Black Order. And then I was like, oh, well, I don't really want anything else, but I was looking at Steve Berry, who again is someone like Dan Brown and James Rollins. He does a lot of the conspiracy theories and whatnot. And I was like, well, I have 4 books, so I'm getting 2 for free. So I went and picked up 2 Steve Berry books, and these are my free ones I got. I got The Emperor's Tomb, and I got The Romanov Prophecy. This one has something to do with, like, Rasputin did something, and whatever he did is coming back to life, I think, now. Which, I like Anastasia, I like that whole, like, Romanov time period, so I really want to read this one. And this one is about one of the Chinese emperors. China's first emperor. It's about the tomb of China's first emperor. So I like Eastern Asia, so I wanted to pick this one up too. They had a whole bunch of Steve Berry. They had more Steve Berry than they had James Rollins, but I've only read 1 Steve Berry book. I read The Lost Order, I believe. And it was okay. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't as good as Dan Brown or James Rollins. So I'm hoping maybe because these are 2 things that I'm really interested in, I'll enjoy these more. Then, towards the beginning of the month, I had decided to go to Barnes & Noble and look around, and I've really been wanting to read the Nevermore series. Oh, shoot, that book is not wanting to stay up. Okay. So, I really wanted to read the Nevermore series by Jessica Townsend, and I was going to get all 3, but the 3rd book is in hardcover, and I want them all to match, so I'm going to wait till the 3rd book comes out in paperback. But I went and got Nevermore, The Trials of Morrigan Crow. And then I got the 2nd book, Wondersmith, The Calling of Morrigan. And I've heard such great things about this series. I've heard that it's amazing, and everyone that's read it has absolutely loved it. And I also, if you've been watching my channel, I read like almost every book that's titled Nevermore. So I had to pick up this one too. I'm hoping to read this soon because I'm like really excited for this. Because I've heard such great things. And if you don't know, it's about this girl. So it's about Morrigan Crow who's cursed. And she's like born on like the unluckiest day. And she's blamed for all the local misfortunes around her. And she's doomed to die. And like right before that, she's whisked away to this magical land. And I believe she has to compete in some trials to like get into the society or something like that. So, it sounds really good. And they're like pretty big books too for being middle grade. They're like they're almost like 500 pages. So these are pretty beefy books for middle grade. So I'm really looking forward to these. And then on another trip to Barnes & Noble, I picked up Invictus by Ryan Grodin. And this sounds like it is like a time travel kind of like sci-fi, which I really like time travel. I'm not really into sci-fi, unless it's, you know, like steampunk, Victorian era in space, or like time travel. I really like that type of sci-fi stuff. So one of the other booktubers I watched suggested in her video like to read this, that it was really interesting, and it also talks about them, like the Titanic, and this guy meeting this mysterious girl, and gladiators in ancient Rome. So it sounds like they're going to be traveling like all over time, and I'm loving that. So I'm really hoping to read this soon, because I love me a good time travel novel. Then I saw that The Princess Will Save You by Sarah Henning was in paperback. I've been eyeing this for a really long time, but the like Kindle book has always been like $10.99, which I feel is too much for an ebook. And I didn't really want to get the hardcover because I didn't know if I liked this series or not, which I think I will. But they finally had it in paperback, so I decided to pick this up, and I'm super excited. So it sounds like the main girl character is being like forced to marry this prince that she doesn't want to. She's actually in love with the stable boy, and so she decides to defy her father and like go and save the stable boy. And this is also kind of like a reimagining or a retelling of The Princess Bride, and I love The Princess Bride. Like, it's right up here, the special edition of it. So I have to read this one. I'm super excited. And the second book came out, The Queen Will Betray You. I don't know if I want to wait until that one gets closer to being in paperback before I read this, or if I want to read this one and then wait like a year. I'm not sure yet, but I am excited for this book. Then I have like all of the A Court of Thorns and Roses in hardback except for the third book. So I went and decided that I was going to pick up a used copy. So I got this off of eBay, and sadly it's a little, the pages like yellowed and stuff, and it has like a black mark on it. So it's not in the best condition, but this is going to look better with all of my books on my shelf than like having hardback, paperback, hardback. So now I'll have all the hardback books. And yeah, I'm sure by now you all know what A Court of Thorns and Roses is, because like everyone talks about it and it's so good. But I just wanted to have all the hardbacks, and now I do. And then another book I got off of eBay. This is a brand new edition signed by the author, and it is the last book of the Dorothy Must Die series. I have all the other books up here. I haven't read any of them except for the Dorothy Must Die Stories Volume 1. I did read that, but I haven't actually read like the rest of the series. And now that I have it all, I really need to do that because I really like The Wizard of Oz. So yes, I'm hoping to start this series. I probably won't actually get to it till next year, but hopefully at the beginning of next year. So yes, if you don't know, Dorothy Must Die, I believe, is like when Dorothy goes to Wonderland, she ends up getting corrupted and she becomes like the bad guy. And so this other girl is, I think, pulled in. Yeah, Amy Gum. She's the other girl from Kansas, and it's like her job to stop Dorothy. So that just sounds like really cool. So yes, I want to find out what's so special about these girls from Kansas, and why is it that Dorothy is evil? I need to know. Alright, and then the last book, I went and picked this one up the other day. It was actually the last copy that they had at Barnes & Noble. I was going to get this as an ebook, but they wanted like $14.99 for an ebook, and I was like, no, I'm just going to go and buy the hardback. So this is She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan, and this is apparently a queer kind of like reimagining of Mulan, and it is a military fantasy. So, I really like Mulan, at least the Disney Mulan. And I don't think I've ever read military fantasy before. So I don't know how this is going to go. And I originally thought that it was going to be like a standalone book, but it actually looks like this is the first in the series. So I'm hoping I like this. If I don't, I probably won't continue the series. But if I do really like it, I might actually pick up the Poppy Wars, because someone suggested that if you like the Poppy Wars, you'd like this. And you'd also like the Sword of Kaigen, and I actually do have the ebook of the Sword of Kaigen. I just haven't read it yet. So we'll see how that goes. I generally don't like military movies, but if it's maybe fantastical and not very real, like it's more like fiction, then I feel like I'm reading about a real war, I might enjoy it more. So we'll see what happens. But yes, I'm excited to read this one. So the rest of the books that I got are actually from Amazon. I usually make one big Amazon purchase. So the first two books I got were books 5 and 6 of the Fallen Kingdom series. So I got Crystal Storm by Morgan Rhodes, and I got Immortal Rain by Morgan Rhodes. And these are the last two books of the Fallen Kingdom series. And this is a high fantasy young adult series that has, like, you know, princesses and princes and generals and all of that. And I read the first two books and I really, really liked them. And for some reason, I kind of got distracted and I never finished the series. I was a little sad because when I got them, this here was sliced across the bottom, so I had to tape it up. And then the cover here was all ripped and torn up, and I had to tape it. I mean, these are older books, and they're not that easy to find in hardcover anymore, so that's why I just kept them and taped them up. I'm not really getting them for collector's purposes. I just want to read them, and I want all my books to be the same. And I was also sad because they had a spin-off series that had Spirits and Thieves and the Darkest Magic books, and then that series wasn't continued, so I actually ended up unhauling the first book of that series, because why read a book if you're not going to be able to find out what happens? But yes, I'm hoping to start getting back to this series because I remember the two books. I just love them so much. So I'm happy that I have them all now. And then I got Sarah J. Maas' book, House of Earth and Blood, which is the first book, or Crescent City is the first book of the House and Earth and Blood series, I believe. So this is by the same author who wrote Throne of Glass and also A Court of Thorn and Roses. I did initially buy this book as a Kindle book because I got it on sale for like $2.99, which I probably will read the Kindle book over this because it's really heavy. Like, these have like the really thin pages in it, so it doesn't look that big, but it's heavy. I believe. Let me show you these end pages. Look at these end pages. It's gorgeous. This book is just gorgeous. There's the crescent on the front, and then that on the side. So the rest of it isn't, but like that impressive. But I do, those end pages are just gorgeous. But I want to keep this in a really nice condition, so I'm probably just going to read the Kindle edition of it. But yes, I plan to read, I think the second book comes out in January next year, so I'll probably read this in January and then read the next one in February. I'm not sure how many books are going to be in this series. This says, bound by blood, tempted by desire, unleashed by destiny. Bryce Quinlan had the perfect life, working hard all day and partying all night, until a demon murdered her closest friends, leaving her bereft, wounded, and alone. When the accused is behind bars but the crimes start up again, Bryce finds herself at the heart of the investigation. She'll do whatever it takes to avenge their deaths. Hunt Athalar is a notorious fallen angel now enslaved to the archangels he once attempted to overthrow. His brutal skills and incredible strength have been set to one purpose: to assassinate his boss's enemies, no questions asked. But with the demon wreaking havoc in the city, he's offered an irresistible deal. Help Bryce find the murderer and his freedom will be within reach. As Bryce and Hunt dig deep into Crescent City's underbelly, they discover a dark power that threatens everything and everyone they hold dear. And they find in each other a blazing passion. Ooh. One that could set them both free if they'd only let it. With unforgettable characters, sizzling romance, and page-turning suspense, this richly inventive new fantasy series by #1 New York Times bestselling author Sarah J. Maas delves into the heartache of loss, the price of freedom, and the power of love. And I believe this is the adult series, where the other two, Throne of Glass and A Court of Thorns and Roses, are like young adult, new adult books. I believe this one is actually adult fantasy. So I'm excited to read this one. I've heard good things. Alright. Then we have The Broken Ones by Danielle L. Jemisin. This is the prequel novel for the Malediction trilogy, I believe. Yeah, the Malediction trilogy. Which is Stolen Songbird, Hidden Huntress, Warrior Witch, and then this is the prequel novel. It's almost like a novella. It's like a little over 200 pages, so it's not very big at all. And this looks like it is self-published. I could be wrong, but it looks like a self-published book. But I believe... Is this about goblins? No, trolls. This series is about trolls. I can't remember I read the first book, and I'm partway through the second book. And I believe a girl gets kidnapped and taken by the trolls to, like, marry the prince or something like that. And then I think she also has, like, magical powers or something. I don't remember. Which probably means I need to reread it. But I'm sure I'll like, once I start reading the second book again, I'll remember what happens. And this is a prequel, so you don't have to have read the trilogy to read this. So, yes. I finally have that whole series, and I need to read that now. Alright, 2 more books. Oh, I got Any Way the Wind Blows by Rainbow Rowell, and this is the last book of the Simon Snow trilogy. She wrote this book called Fangirl, and in that, the girl writes fan fiction about the Simon Snow series, and she's, like, in love with Baz. I believe it's Baz she's in love with. But this Rainbow Rowell actually then wrote that series that is talked about in Fangirl. So, this series is okay, or I should say this trilogy is okay. The first book was pretty good. The second book was a little boring, in my opinion. So, we'll see how the third book goes. But it's basically kind of like a magical a magical school setting. And Simon is supposed to be the most powerful wizard that's ever lived. And Baz is his enemy, or so he thinks. But they end up finding that they're actually in love, and stuff happens, and they end up leaving the school. And in the second one, they're, like, traveling around America on, like, a road trip. And so I'm not really sure what the third book is going to be about, but we'll see. Hopefully it's good. It has a good ending, hopefully. We'll find out. I am planning to read this in August, so it will go on my to-be-read shelf. Actually, She Who Becomes the Sun I'm reading in August, too, so actually it can go on there, too. Any of these other ones? No, these other ones aren't on my... And then the last book I got is Crave. So this is by Tracy Wolff. I've heard if you like Twilight, you'll like this. It's like a vampire school setting. There's a lot of teen angst. Yeah. And I went, the Bookish shop had this whole, like, series as a collector's edition. So you could pre-order books 1 through 4. And they're going to have, like, the spines are going to make, like, the picture of, like, the school. And then in the future, they're going to offer book number 5. So I went and bought that series, but I've never read it. And I don't want to read my limited edition books, so I decided I'm going to actually start buying the other copies of the books. So I'll have, like, the regular edition, and then I'll have the really nice limited edition ones. And I hope I like it since I'm investing in it so much, which I love Twilight, I love Vampire Academy. I liked House of Night, but I had some issues with it. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll like this series too. So, yes. And I'm probably actually going to read that in August too. My TBR is getting a little crazy, but that's okay. So yes, that is my book haul. That is everything I've gotten so far in July, book-wise. And I hope you really like this video. Comment down below if you have read any of these books, and or also, you know, what books that you've gotten recently and which books you're excited to read in August. So comment down below, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye!